if that makes sense. Like, how addicted are you to production that you have to be a producer of your life to be valid or valuable? Because that was definitely the theme of the week, is that, I wasn't doing enough. And I'll tell you what, have you ever noticed that when you go on a vacation, like you take a break, you take 24 hours off, or you take a week off, or maybe you're brave enough to schedule a month off, how much freaking business shows up for you when you're not in the space of trying to like do and produce. And so that's what we're going to talk about in this segment, is the in-between spaces. And so what I notice with my business, when I'm ready to have a quantum leap, when I'm ready to like choose a different type of service or like a different facet of what it is that I do for a living, that, the old type of business, people are like, I don't know if I want to choose that with you anymore. And so I'm smart enough to notice that and not make it wrong, just allow it to be data. And then people start asking me for stuff. Like, I can't tell you like how many times in the last week people have asked me just right out of the blue, hey, are you dealing with trauma? Is this something that you have in your skill set? And absolutely, I do. I have, God, dozens of modalities that I'm certified in. And, I'm an autodidact. I like studied under some amazing masters internationally. And, trauma is something that I am informed about. I really do notice that, basically the first 7 years of your life, and even in utero, what happens to you uh, really shows up in a bunch of different places and spaces. It can show up in like you might even have like a ceiling on the amount of happiness that you're allowed to have. You might have a ceiling on the amount of healthiness you're allowed to have, and wealthiness, the amount of love that you're allowed to have. And so when you start to make changes, that trauma can show up. And so people are starting to ask me about trauma. And so noticing that for yourself, like if you are in an in between space, what are people asking you to create?